Hello, everyone. It's Kristina. Tonight, we are going to talk about what it looks like to hold ourselves accountable. And maybe you just need to hear this conversation to get a little bit of a boost of motivation and just to ask yourself why you're not holding yourself accountable in this particular moment. And we have to be able to do that in order to get the results that we're actually desiring. So let's get into it about holding ourselves accountable. So we have to get honest. That's number one. It's the gap between where you are and where you want to be, but it's on your terms. It's not always about, I don't have enough time, resources, knowledge. It's someone else's fault. I was at a disadvantage, so I can't have this life. Guys, I know this is going to trigger some people, but that's nonsense. I really believe if you hold yourself accountable and are determined to get the life that you want, you can get there. I know this for a fact. And when more people start believing in themselves and they're holding themselves accountable and leaning into self-accountability, this is what it starts to look like. It starts, you may say, I dropped the ball, but that's okay. I can pick it up. You see the difference in that language? It's not, I dropped the ball, it's over, I can't lean into it. It's you making the decision to pick it back up, to keep going. Sometimes we get caught up in this space that we think something has happened to us and we think it's done. It's all or nothing. It is not all or nothing. You are empowered in that moment to decide, are you going to give up or are you going to keep going? And sometimes it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's possible. It's definitely possible. I really want you to realize that you are so empowered, no matter your circumstances, that you can pick the ball back up. You can get back in that game. You can start playing the game of life again. Or it could be something minor. You can pick the ball back up and say, I'm going to try and go for another job. That past job does not define me. I'm still an amazing person and I have lots to offer the world. Do you see the different language that's showing up? Or perhaps you start owning your schedule instead of blaming your calendar. I'm so busy, I can't do it. Everyone's pulling at me. That is not holding yourself accountable. Remember, you are the driver of that ship or captain of that ship, if you want to say it that way. You set your schedule. But if people are pulling you left, right, and center on your schedule, who owns that? Is it their fault or is it your fault? And it's really not even about fault. We just have to be accountable. But I'm here to empower you to say, hey, you can say, I actually have these conversations with clients where I'm like, well, you can block out time for yourself. They're like, oh, no, I can't. This is going to be so bad. No, in order for you to be effective, you have to block out time. If you're letting your calendar run you, then that is not holding yourself accountable. That's allowing you're blaming and making excuses because of other things, which you actually can flip the script. Or if you are holding yourself accountable, it means holding up your promises to yourself, holding up to those commitments you made to yourself, even when no one's watching. You go cycling and it's pouring rain, but because that's what you do. You go to the gym, even though you're not feeling 100%, because that's what you do. Not because anyone's watching, but because you made commitments to yourself that you need to do something every day. You don't give up as soon as it gets hard. You actually still stay focused because you're aligned with whatever that goal is. And you're going to do it even when no one's watching, even when no one is giving you a high five. Another way that it looks could be when you're tracking your progress over perfection. So do you do that? I know for myself, tracking progress, this is actually a funny little one, but I have made myself up. I do these fun little things, but I've made myself a sticker program. That's literally what I call it. I call it with my clients. I'm like, we're going to do the sticker program. And they're like, I'm an adult, Kristina, really? And I'm like, yep, we are. And you're going to love it. And it's going to be whatever sticker you want. And for me, it's like these bright, shiny star things that I put in my calendar all the time. when I hit the gym. I get one every day. But what that does is it creates a visual cue for me that I can see where I'm at. I can track my progress. And let's say I committed that I will be at the gym 4 times a week and I can't get them 4 in a row, but I still can see the visual that I'm like, I can't make it Thursday, but I still need to get that one sticker. I can either go Friday or Saturday. That's how I create that flex for me. That's me holding myself accountable. No one's asking me to do that. It's important to me that I do that. And another good one is holding yourself to consistency, being consistent with whatever you're doing over convenience. It's so easy to blow off things because it's easier. And I'll use the idea very simply. It's so easy to blow up the idea of going drinking with your friends on a Friday night and not go to the gym. But like I said, if you have your own little program that you're like Fridays, you're allowed to be off, however you work it. But if you are blowing yourself off because it's easier to sit on your couch and do nothing over following the plan that you said that you're going to go to the gym every day, then you're kind of self-sabotaging. You're not really holding yourself accountable. This does not mean that you can't go out with your friends, but how are you still going to do your plan? How are you still going to be consistent with it? So I want you to think about that, because self-accountability, honestly, isn't about being hard on yourself or beating yourself up. It's about integrity. Are you who you say you are? When you say that you're going to do something, do you do it? Are you aligned with your values and your overall vision? Are you clear with that? When people think of you, do they know what you stand for? When you think of you, do you know what you stand for? Or are you a little bit wishy-washy? And if you are, I'm not here to judge it. We're just talking about accountability. And this is how accountability works, guys. It's literally you have to make a decision to show up for yourself, and you got to own it. You can't show up for yourself and be like, it's everyone else's fault and life is so hard and this isn't going to be work. And that's not even possible. Do you hear that language? It feels heavy to me when I think of it that way. Even the word hard now, that's so hard. I'm not crazy about that word anymore. And I never dreamed that would ever come out of my mouth. But I feel like when we start leaning into language that way, we've already told ourselves we're at a disadvantage. And I think it's like when we're holding ourselves accountable, I know if something's difficult, it doesn't faze me. Usually, bring it on. Let's go. Let's do it. And when you do that, I think that can be really powerful, because if you are like, I'm going to show up, I'm going to do it regardless if it's hard or not, it makes no difference. But if you start saying it's so hard, it's difficult, then you're already putting the brakes on progress. So something for you to think about. I've got Stephen here. I'm going to bring Stephen up and let's see what he has to say. Hey, how's it going?
It's going well. This one's a little on the triggering side, not because of me. I show up, I do what I need to do, and I don't complain about it. I try to find the right way. What's hard about it is prior to 2016, I was also carrying the accountability for somebody else. And it was my fault that they weren't happy, because if I would just do this, they would be happy. And some of that still niggles around in the corners of my mind. And there's times now when I will be out. There was that ride across Nebraska was interesting. I sat right across from somebody that was whatever the 20-somethings are, and she proceeded to tell me that the boomers had screwed it all up for them. And it was all I could do to keep from laughing, going,
I know.
seriously, the previous generation messed it up for everybody. That's just the way it goes. And if you're going to blame the rest of the world for your stuff, you're going to have a long life, long, hard life, because you will be constantly disappointed because nothing goes the way you want it to.
100%. Because I would say, I'll just pause you there, just because that's victim mentality, right? We don't want to own it. It's everyone else's fault. And when we are in that space, it is so dangerous, because you That literally is saying, I want to jump in quicksand and just hang out there, because you're not looking for the answer. You're just looking for someone to blame.
I just a person that I know from the cycling club that he's got diabetes and some other stuff, and he posted on Facebook just today, I just can't win.
Right?
I just can't be around that. Go off in the corner. Go have your pity party someplace else.
Mm-hmm.
If you're willing to listen, I can help. But I can
Mm-hmm.
tell that you're not even willing to listen because you're just defeated. And I didn't get where I am by having the defeated attitude. It's like, oh, yeah, it's going to suck for the rest of my life because I'm divorced now. And it's just retirement won't happen because we did this and it's all their fault. Nope.
But do you
It,
hear?
it,
Okay, there's something really important for everyone to hear. Do you hear that? You're like, well, that's not happening. I'm going to hold, that is not on my path. And I am going to hold myself accountable. So I don't live that way. Because if you
yep.
don't, you could have lived that way.
You could. I was chatting with another driver this morning, and he's 54, so I got him by 11 years. And he's like, well, I certainly don't want to work till I'm 67 just to draw Social Security. And I'm like, dude, that's what you got to do. You can go early and not get your full amount, or you can go to 67 and get your full amount. Your choice, one
Mm-hmm.
or the other. And I said, well, there's a good chance if you're healthy in your 60s, you might live till you're 90. And he's like, well, I don't know if I want to live till I'm 90 because I don't want somebody to change my diapers. And I'm like, oh
God,
man,
wow.
let's just shoot you now because it seems
I'm
like
kind of feeling the same vibe. I'm like, oh, there's a lot that can happen before 90. If you want to come back up, you can finish that thought. I think that it's, well, and guys, we've talked about this many times, that we have to be aware of those people that are around us. Someone like that is like, oh, well, everything's going to go wrong anyways. I've had people in my life that are like, well, Kristina, it's just the way it is. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's just the way it is. When we hold ourselves accountable, we change that path. But those people are not really great to have around all the time because they are draining. They're in that victimhood.
I'm not sure. Maybe it was the week away, and I'm looking through some of the folks that I've decided to not engage with all that much. Go to the recovery service and that, and there's a whole table of guys over there that has been there for the last 3 or 4 years. I just cannot sit at that table because I'll say
Mm-hmm.
something like, so any wins this week?
Mm-hmm.
Anything I can really hang my hat on or whatever. It can't suck that bad. I'd rather go. There's times I'd just rather be around, and even some of the ladies. Well, how was your week? And I'll tell them, and it's like, shining the light. Can you reflect some back at me, please?
Well, and you're so deserving, right? Like us bright lights, we need some light shine back on us. It can't just be one way.
Thank you. I feel vindicated now.
No, it's so true.
It just seems like some folks are just stuck, and well, this is all the better it's going to get. So Eeyore's your spirit animal. How's that working
Right?
out for you?
Yes. I know. And it especially when you have done the work and you've been holding yourself accountable when it's been hard. When you turn around and you listen to someone and they are stuck in it, it's not easy for everyone. It's a choice. And if you make these choices, you can have different things in your life. It's very hard to have patience for people that are, it's literally quicksand. They're stuck in the quicksand. They cycle the same thoughts over and over again.
Hey, they will find the most creative excuses.
I think it's so important. And I think, Stephen, I love it because you're coming from a place where you've been through stuff. You had to pick up all the pieces of your life when it got rebooted completely and rebuild it. And you had a choice in that moment that you could have been stuck in it forever. But when I listen to you speak, it's very profound, it's wise, and I am like, this is just from my perspective. I can tell right away people who've gone through stuff versus not. And the ones that have gone through stuff, they just have a different, a level of wisdom that comes out through their truth and when they're sharing it out. And you do that. And I think that the more you can lean into that for yourself and be around places like this is a multiplying place, right? And being around other multipliers, then that is just going to shine brighter. And I think when we understand that accountability does not mean that it's a breeze. It's actually leaning into that level of integrity. What do you stand for? And if you ask yourself right now, do you hold yourself accountable? And remember, I can't see you. And it doesn't really matter. Like this is a personal conversation with yourself. And if it would be like, well, I hold myself accountable here, but I'm not here. And you'll know if you're not. It just comes across in certain ways where you'll blow off things. You don't, things that you wanted to do, you won't follow through and do them. And when we are not leaning into our own personal truth, it's very easy not to be accountable because it's really not a big deal. But when we hold ourselves accountable, that's when you take your power back. That's when you're not waiting for anyone else to do it for you. You're actually learning, hey, I can do this one step at a time. It could be baby steps. You're no longer looking for external approval because you got this. You learn how to build self-trust. And every time you show up for yourself, you reinforce that belief. I can count on me. I am not alone in this because I got me. And you build this amazing momentum. Small little baby steps every single day. That's how you actually build true transformation. It's the choices that you make every day to still show up and say, this is important. This is who I am. I'm not ready to give up yet. And then you keep going. And it could be for your food choices. It could be maybe you want to go back to school. Maybe you want to do something that you've never done before, but you're terrified. But when we hold ourselves accountable, we take it one step at a time. And trust me, next thing you'll turn around, you'll be like, oh my gosh, look at where I'm at. Look at what I've done. Those sad points, no matter how deep you've gone, don't worry, there's a counter to it that could be very happy. But you have to hold yourself accountable to get you on the flip side. So you may ask, well, why can't I hold myself accountable sometimes? Why am I stuck? Why does this fall off sometimes? Why do I self-sabotage? There are so many people out there who self-sabotage. And the worst part is they don't even realize. I have a whole business on this. They do not realize that they've been self-sabotaging. And the reason why stuff like this happens, it's rooted in shame. Maybe it's rooted in guilt, not growing, or you're beating yourself up in some way because it's not working. This is not accountability. When we're beating ourselves up and going, you have to do this, and oh, you're, I don't even say not nice words, but you say not nice words to yourself that, why didn't you do it? You should have done this. That is not helping you. That is actually making you shrink and get smaller. And some people just push away completely and won't do anything. That's where procrastination kicks in. That's where we like something for a week and then it falls off because it's not connected. We can't really connect with it because we're not being nice to ourselves on the journey. It feels like more of a uphill battle or a bit of a punishment. We don't want that. And another reason why it doesn't line up properly, accountability doesn't work, is because we talked about this. It's not aligned with your truth. It's not aligned with your why. Why are you doing this? Are you truly committed to it? Does it light you up? Do you feel laser focused, invested in it? Or when you get pushed and when it gets hard, do you just say, no, I can't do it, it's too hard? And the scary part about it, sometimes that's directly related to self-worth. You don't think you're deserving. You don't think that you're good enough. You don't think that you should be having that life for yourself. So if we don't think it, then maybe we can hide it from ourselves and we won't hold ourselves accountable. We'll just act like it is a big deal. When you are not holding yourself accountable, you are only hurting you ultimately. Then there will be other people that might be impacted by some of the decisions, but overall, you're hurting you. So ask yourself, is that working for you? And if it's not, good news, we can start talking about some practical tips. And we're going to talk about that today, how we can start getting ourselves back on track and to stay accountable. Another reason why it may not line up the way that you want, maybe the goal is too big. It's not, so you don't have it specific enough. Vague goals can lead to vague results, that wishy-washy. An example is like, if I'm going to run 10K, that's very clear. I'm going to run 10K. You could break that down. I have to run so many kilometers a week just to make sure that I can hit my goal. You can break them down into bite-sized pieces. But if the goal is I'm going to run, well, that's a little bit too open. We need to get more specific. And if any of you know, they're called SMART goals. SMART goals are really about how to break it down a little bit deeper, how to be specific, measurable, accountable is in there, is realistic, and they have to be timely. So that something like that little acronym of SMART is awesome because it gives you the guideline to hold yourself accountable to whatever that goal is. The vagueness saying, I'm going to take over the world, I'm going to make millions of dollars, I'm going to meet the guy of my dreams. Too vague, guys. We have to be more specific, and that will help you build the plan and to stick to it. And I've seen this many times where it's hard to be accountable when we've overcommitted. We've committed to everybody else about all these wonderful things, and we cannot do any of them right because we're too locked up in trying to make everybody else happy. That leans into people pleasing. We spoke about that today. Or it could be the opposite. You're stuck in perfectionism, and then you get into analysis paralysis and you can't move. I've seen that many times with clients. They can't move. They will triple check things, sometimes 4 or 5 times before they will even put something forward because there's this fear of failure. But you have to hold yourself accountable because if not, you'll never get anything done. It's almost like a bit of a hamster wheel or the treadmill. You're just running the same course over and over again. So not to be a Debbie Downer, but I just want us to be aware that why this stuff happens. Why do you fall back to poor food choices? Why are you blowing off the gym? Why are you not hanging out with the right people? Why are you not in the right job? It's because you are not holding yourself accountable to your truth. What is it that you want? Where do you want to go? And then once you decide what that is, then it's awesome. Then you can hold yourself accountable. Am I following suit? Does this work towards my goal or does it not? I have a postie on my desk that says, does this work towards my goal? It has to be laser focused. If it's not, if I don't know, caught up in some video that, I'm like so engaged and I love it, and I see my postie that says, does this work towards my goal? I'm like, oh, no, it doesn't. No, shake it off. I have scheduled time for playtime, but I got to get my stuff done. I got to hold myself accountable at the end of the day. So all of you need to ask yourself, do I hold myself accountable? Then I'll tell you, you are not going to get the results that you want. Sorry, $1 million secret there. You will not get the results that you want. I want you to lose 50 pounds. I want you to get the dream job. I want you to travel the world. I want you to do whatever you want to do. You have to have skin in the game. It is not everybody else's place to do that for you. And if you want it bad enough, really, you got to lean in and show up for yourself. So here are some practical tips that you guys can walk away with. How can I hold myself accountable? Maybe you want to write these down, but it's up to you. 1, write it down. If you put it down on paper, it kind of becomes real. And then it's not rattling around. It's not, hey, maybe I should. Oh, that would be a good idea. If you write it down, it's almost like making a contract with yourself. Now it's real. So write down whatever you want to do. Second one is creating micro deadlines. So what are little wins that you can set up for yourself to keep the momentum. So let's go back to the 10K marathon. If you say, oh my gosh, a 10K marathon, that's impossible. But if I do micro wins where I'm like, I ran for 30 minutes today, I ran for 30 minutes all week. And then the next week I ran for 40 minutes. Awesome. The next week I run for 50 minutes. And as you can see, it's the buildup. But those are wins. They feel good. Just like for myself, my workout regimen has changed quite a bit since when I was doing CrossFit and doing all this crazy stuff when I was younger. And now I'm like, you know what? I'm good with this power hour that I have for myself. And it's not major, but it's consistent. Do you see the difference? I can do it every day. It'll be like brushing teeth. I've been going nonstop. And as many of you know, I've got the dancing in the mirror, a part of that routine, and I love it so much. And I did it today. And honestly, it's music loud, no one is watching, and I am having a dance party with myself. That is a part of my routine. Can I hold myself accountable? For sure, because I want to hang out with myself. Of course, I want to go there. Of course, I'm going to do it. And the irony is, no one is watching, and I'm doing it all the time. But the whole point is, it's like little pieces. What can you commit to on a regular basis that it's not a thing? Sometimes these goals that we pick are so massive that we blow them off after 2 weeks because we don't see traction, things aren't moving. But what can you hold yourself accountable to? To me, that little dance party, my workout dance party, awesome. I strongly recommend to all of you. I can do that every day. I'm literally looking forward to it. And then I mix in weights in between. So what I do, this is maybe I should create some sort of program, but like I mix my weights in between. So instead of waiting in between sets, I will dance. I have my little dance party and then I go back and I do more weights. And I realize I'm probably doing a lot more cardio. My heart rate is up the whole time, but it's not, I'm holding myself accountable because I'm also having fun. Do you see the difference? It's not punishing. All right, let's rock out this dance party and get some strength in there. So my point is, how can you break down whatever it is into little bite-sized pieces for you that you can still be having fun and you can show up for yourself? It's not heavy, it's not punishing. I'm getting messages behind the scenes. I'm the greatest dancer and goal achiever. Like everybody, I know you guys are feeling my vibe right now. It's so good, I'm telling you. And you can put whatever music you want on. It's awesome. Anyways, but whatever it is for you, if you want to lose 50 pounds, if you want to meet someone new, if you're dating, how are you building those relationships? These are really achievable things. And holding yourself accountable will make the biggest difference. Another part that you can put into play is, what's your check-in ritual? How do you check in with yourself? Or are you just blowing through your day and really feeling, well, today is just another day? Well, I do a morning check-in and I do a night check-in without even realizing I really do that, but that's what I do. In the morning, I'm like, what is my intention today? When I'm getting up super early and I set my day. I strongly recommend people get up early. There's something about it being, our bodies being aligned with daylight. That's usually when you're most productive. I'm just putting it out there. And then at the evening, you can ask yourself, did you show up for yourself? I've had times where I'm like, I've had a tough day and I'll be in bed and I'll be laying there and I'll be like, thanks for showing up today, Kristina. Thanks for showing up. And I know it sounds silly, but I'm telling you, it feels good. It really had this amazing shift for me. I was like, wow, you acknowledged that. You acknowledged yourself. And it's easier to keep yourself accountable when you're in that space. I'm going to bring Peter up and let's see what Peter has to say.
First of all, I thoroughly enjoyed your talk today on Zoom. removed my
Oh,
mask. It's just a
thanks,
treat.
Peter.
Treat.
Thanks. I
Absolutely.
just love that we got to see each other
Yeah.
live.
It was a lot of fun.
Mhm.
So as you're speaking, I'm just thinking to myself, two things real quick. I have this system next to my whiteboard to have all these sticky notes. So my daily reward is just to go up and pull the task off, right? Whatever it's working out, go to the gym, whatever, call that person. I do that, but I never thought to add something like the whole give yourself a star or whatever. But maybe I'll try it. But what works for me is planning out my day the night before. I put the color coded and I just pull them off, and that's kind of a reward. I reward myself that way. But what really works for me is the night before, right? So as I do that, I'm thinking about tomorrow and stuff. But when I get in bed, I think to myself, I'm really going to sleep well tonight. And tomorrow's going to be a fantastic day. And I do that before I even, as soon as I hit the pillow. So the next day, it's not such a, to me, sometimes in the morning when I wake up, the thoughts catch up, they're already racing. And it can get ahead of me really quickly. So if I set the intention the night before when I'm relaxing, it seems to really work for me. And when I do that, it's a lot easier in the morning to believe what I'm saying. I'm going to have a great day because I already decided it last night, right? And that may just sound like mind tricks or whatever, but damn well works. And for me, at least. So really setting the intention when I get in bed really works for me. So that's just my little 2 cents. And again, thanks for having me up. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Peter. Much
All right.
appreciated. Oh, wow. I think that's great. I love posties for that. I love when, see, and that's another thing about accountability. So even with that example with Peter coming up, it's interesting because for Peter, it's the takedown. Whereas for me, it's to have the visual to see it later on. I like looking the month view and saying, oh, look at all those stickers on my calendar. I'm a rock star. But either way, whatever works for you, it's a tracking mechanism to say, I did it. I can keep going. And it's such a great tool. And as Peter said, he also has the whiteboard. So a whiteboard is another great one. I've got a huge whiteboard in my office. I know that I saw today on Zoom that Peter has a huge whiteboard in his. And it's so great because for myself, and I recommend with some of my clients and stuff, I love check mark. I love taking, you write it on the whiteboard or you write it on your piece of paper, and I love check marking or highlighting that it's complete. There's something about that experience, and having it on paper and going through that process, that actually holds you accountable. And well, for me anyways, it is a tool that pulls you in, which I think is awesome. A journal is another way. If it's kind of interesting because people get really funny about journaling. Sometimes I get clients that get resistance right away. Like, oh, I don't journal. There is no set way to journal. It's really about how you can get your thoughts and your expressions out, and you get them out there, and then you can either check mark, you can draw if you have to, you can doodle if you have to. But when you understand, that can be extremely powerful, a great measurement in how to do that. The more we can learn to shift and hold ourselves accountable and go on this amazing journey in life, then we all win. And that makes me extremely happy. I have 3 other ones that I'll say, okay, and see if they resonate. I want you to really, we've talked about, but why are you doing this? Why are you on this path? Why do you want to hold yourself accountable? It's got to be something deep. It's got to be something that's speaking to your soul, really, if you are leaning into your authentic self. And I know that when I have these conversations here, if you keep showing up, there's a reason why you keep showing up. And if there's something stirring inside of you, that's because I'm speaking to something deeper in you, not just the intellectual, mental side. I'm actually speaking to something deeper because it's almost like dying for you to break free. How can I be my best self? How can I really grow? What are these things that I can do to be more expansive? But before we get there, we have to hold ourselves accountable, and we have to do a bit of a tear down of these belief systems, the conditionings of how we think it's supposed to be. And then we do the build up, which will be so easy to start to really love yourself, hold yourself accountable, and keep going. And this is really important. And I've had many conversations with people. When something goes down, whatever it is, maybe it's a fight, with a friend in a relationship. Maybe a job didn't go well. Maybe you got a divorce. Maybe someone hurt you. The first thing I would say, and this is a little gift for you guys, the first thing that you should be saying before you start pointing any fingers is, what do I own in this? What do I need to learn, or what do I own in this situation? If you start with that approach, that will change everything in how you see the next step. But if you are caught up in the opposite, where you are blaming everybody else, you are not going to be able to progress as quickly as you would like to. Because we all own something, whether or not we like it or not, we all own something. And there's a learning in that. And it could be big, it could be small, but the reason why I call it out is just so you can have that deeper understanding of self. And that's what we're talking about, that accountability. And then you can start moving the dial. Then you can start moving ahead. So if it's a fight with someone, be like, what do I, oh, well, maybe I did freak out a little bit, or maybe I was a little bit judgy, or maybe I wasn't very kind, or maybe I used mean words. Maybe you did that stuff. And we're not here to judge it. We're here to fix it. We're here to own it and be like, what did I learn? I don't need to speak like that. And that was hurtful. And that actually irritated the conversation. It doesn't excuse the other person. That person has to be accountable for themselves. But you can be accountable for you, and you can be learning to make sure you're making better choices day by day, building momentum, and then going where you need to go. So we're talking accountability, but we can talk little or we can talk big. But this is a you game. You really need to learn to own it. And when you own it, then you can pivot. Then you can learn, and no one's here to judge it. We're just saying, hey, what are you learning on this journey? And then when you do, you start showing up differently. Okay, thanks again for a great night, and I appreciate you being here. We'll talk to you then. Bye.